Damn.
Yeah. We're spread out over here, man. You got to drive a ways to see stuff.
Well, but Coroner, and you guys have Bobby Gustafson now.
Yeah.
You got to get him and Tommy Vetterly and Phil all together on stage. That would just be amazing.
Yeah.
Bobby's a local boy. Me and him are buddies. And I did tell him, man, I said, oh my God, you're in Vio-Lence now? And man, I've been waiting so long for this reunion. And not to be a bitch or anything, but man, an EP, I want a full length. But hey, I'll take what I can get, I did pre-order it, and when's it coming out? Because I pre-ordered it. So is it coming out like
March 4th?
Okay, that's very soon.
Yep.
Yeah, I pre-ordered the vinyl, and I'm very, man, the 2 songs I heard so far, brutal, amazing.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
thanks.
It's just amazing and total Vio-Lence. And another question. I mean, I've heard this answer a million times, but let's just see if there's been anything talked about oppressing the masses. I mean, is that still Atlantic not giving it up?
So we asked.
This is good content for the show. We haven't started yet.
We're live. We're live. Welcome to Red Cell Review. Forget the intro.
Thanks, Wayne.
And welcome our special co-host, Mr. Ralph Viera, aka the Good Dr. Fuck from Viera Vault and Rock and Metal Combat Podcast. Mr. Greg back in the house, Mr. Greg Noggle, and our special guest tonight, Mr. Sean Killian of Vio-Lence. Welcome aboard, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So oppressing the masses, anything, or it's the same shit?
So we reached out to Metal Blade to see if they can acquire the rights from Atlantic, because they wouldn't talk to us. And when they did, I guess Atlantic had it on the block to sell to someone else. So we don't know what's going on with it, but hopefully that someone else releases it, because it's a killer album, and we sold the rights to them, and we've asked them to sell it back to us. Phil's contacted them in the past, and then they just stopped taking his phone calls. It's one of those things. I don't know. Maybe they were pissed because of Torture Tactics, and and us talking shit about them pulling it from the record. So who knows? And I fully understand, Sean, that you guys sold it back to them, but I'm a big fan of High Roller Records and New Wave of British Heavy Metal and all that. They've been very successful with buying a lot of artists' older recordings that have sold them off, and then doing these nice retrospective releases. Maybe get in contact with them at Temple of Disharmony and see if there's anything they can do. That was the thing, is like, from what Metal Blade found out, is that the Atlantic sold it to somebody else before we could get it. So we don't know who they sold it to. I think they had mentioned to us who the label was, but I don't know. All I know is we couldn't obtain it. So yeah.
So what you're saying is, I'm going to pay $300 if I want it on wax.
Well, what I think is, if whoever bought it is smart, they probably approach them because they saw the interest in it, and maybe they'll print vinyl and put it out. I don't know, but we did what we could. They just didn't want to work with us, and by the time we got Metal Blade to talk to them, it was already gone. So hopefully it comes out.
Yeah, I would love to get it on vinyl. I mean, it goes for too much money. I do have it on compact disc. Vinyl now, I mean, the way they're selling it for now is astronomical. Are those actually legitimate, or are those bootlegs? Did they release it on vinyl when it was first released?
Yeah. And whether it's real or bootleg, I couldn't tell you, because some of these bootleggers, they're so good at it.
They're amazing, actually. Yeah.
I can attest to that. I just picked up some bootlegs on CD from Japan, records that never got put out on CD. The first 4 Pantera albums, or Glam Terra, as they're affectionately called, but it's still Pantera to me.
Sure.
And the 2 Quiet Riot albums with Randy Rhoads on them, because I'm a Randy fanboy. So but they're legal.
I have the Power Metal one on CD, and it sounds amazing. So these bootleggers, really get good quality. You know, it's not just, it doesn't sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're better than the record labels.
Yeah. So hopefully, you know, I'll find like a good Oppressing the Masses, you know, because I really, and my all-time favorite song, and I know it's going to sound trendy because my favorite is, of course, Eternal Nightmare, but man, World in a World, that song. Is
Yeah, that's a killer.
so
That riff, we always play it last because that riff just makes the crowd explode, you know, and so we always play it last.
it's a vicious video. And I gotta say, what I love too about the new video, you're rocking the turtleneck again, man.
It's actually a coat, but yeah,
Oh, is it?
I wanted a coat that had nothing, no buttons or nothing, and I was able to find it like the day before. Men's Warehouse or some shit. It was on clearance. It's a little tight, but I was like, I gotta have it. No one's gonna tell him once he does all his magic with the video.
There was no video for Eternal Nightmare, right? Nothing was made.
No video for Eternal.
Yeah, but so
My dog's part of the interview too, guys.
yeah,
That's okay. We're animal lovers here. It's all good.
yeah.
And not to interrupt anyone, sorry, Ralph, but before I forget, Ralph already mentioned something that I actually have a question that some younger friends of mine, Nate and whatnot, that Wayne knows that used to be on the show. First, they wanted to know, will you do Officer Nice live on the upcoming tour? But secondly, to piggyback on that, in the CD, and I had always read in magazines and stuff that version of Officer Nice was actually recorded in the studio with audience noise. So that's awesome to find out that's really live.
The demo one,
Yeah.
with Torture Tech, yeah, that's
Yeah.
hella live, dude.
Yeah.
Huh,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Yeah, no,
Dude,
no shit. It even says it on Metal Archives. It calls it a
Greg.
false live recording.
Hold on, dude. Great.
Yeah.
So what we did is we put a little bug in there that if people pay attention, they'll pick up on it. Because we're all like, oh, live in Japan, and I'm like gung hei fa choi, which is Chinese. I think I'm like, all right, Japan, thanks Japan, and then gung hei fa choi. But yeah, we did that in the studio, and yeah, it was fun. But we did
Cool.
play it live. We didn't track it. You know what I'm saying? We did jump in there. I think I put my vocals on it after, but they played it straight through, just like
I
we
got
were.
you.
And we do play the song live. You know, that's definitely a song that, you know, stays on the list. We'll have to make some room, you know, with the 5 new songs coming out. And, you know, we'll see how it goes. But a cool thing about the corner thing, it's a double headline bill. So
Cool. So
That's
cool.
awesome.
yeah, we'll
Now-
get, I think each band plays for 60 minutes or something like that.
Nice. That is awesome. You know, I gotta say, man, one of the crazy, I mean, you're very well known. You got the insane lyrics and insane delivery. But man, the one song that was never released because it was only on demo was oh my God, why am I having a brain fart right now?
Paraplegic.
No, though that's a great one. I'm talking about even after Nothing to Gain. It ended up on the Torque Breed. The
Breed
song,
Like Rats.
yeah. Oh man, that song.
Yeah.
I like the Torque version, but the way you deliver that one, I think that's one of your most insane.
So you've heard the demo.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I have the demo. Yeah, I even have what you guys released in, I think it was like some magazine in Canada before Eternal Nightmare came out. It was for free. It was a cassette. You remember that? Well, I think it was demos for Eternal Nightmare before Eternal Nightmare came out.
Yeah. Mechanics put that out.
Yeah, I even got that before. And you guys,
Yeah. Breed Like Rats is definitely a song that you know, I just went all out, you know, on that. And because at the time we just finished Nothing to Gain, and we, you know, then we did everything we needed to do that you know, Megaforce was asking us for, and then they didn't release it. And it was just like, so when we started writing again, I was like, yeah, fuck all this.
yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
going
you
hard.
actually recorded that in 1990, right?
Which one?
Nothing to Gain.
Yeah, I think it was 90, 91, somewhere in there, with Michael Rosen at Fantasy Studios in Berkeley.
Oh wow, okay, didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did purchase Nothing to Gain not too long ago on vinyl. I don't know if that's a bootleg. Do you know if that
I
was
don't know.
released?
Is it on like? What label is it on? Do you know?
If you give me a second, I'll go grab it and you guys can
Sure.
ask questions.
Oh, can we?
Okay.
Hey Wayne.
I have never
Sean, how's
seen
it going?
anyone so enthusiastic. This is awesome. I love it. It's like childlike innocence, and he's older than all of us. But I digress.
Hey, now you watch that.
Sean, I'd like to ask a question because I'm a bit of an audiophile. You know, I love the sound of the old Vio-Lence albums, but I can't get over how good the new singles sound.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, like, what was the difference in production from then and now? Did you decide to go straight digital? Is it analog at all? Like, you know, what are the what would you say the difference in production is for Vio-Lence now at this point?
So Eternal Nightmare was all 2-inch reel with John Cuniberti. And we recorded that on Melrose at, oh man, something involved or something. I can't remember. And then we did the vocals and leads in San Francisco. It's Pressing the Masses. You know, we went to Alex Perry Alice's place in upstate New York, and he recorded it. Everything was done on the 2-inch, but he also had an ADAT going at the same time. I don't know if he just kept the ADAT, you know, for his personal records, and then this is all digital now, you know. And
okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
we're not in like a big studio spending 90 grand like we used to. We're just, you know, we're with Juan. Juan's studio is not like Fantasy Studios where there's multiple studios. And so it's like really fits us, you know, and so we're all comfortable when we're in there. It doesn't seem like this intense environment, you know. And this time around too, it was like our attitudes were more like, yeah, we're having a good time and let's keep that rolling. And, you know, so Perry did his drums first, and then the guys did the rhythms, and then Christian did his, I'm not sure if Christian did his bass, and then I think they did their leads, and then Christian did his bass, and then I followed up at the end. But, you know, when I was there doing my tracks, it was like just me and Juan. Phil would pop in, you know, for a little bit just to listen. And then we did we did 3 songs the first weekend, and then we took a couple of weeks off and then did 2 songs. So it wasn't like, you know, Eternal Nightmare and Oppressing the Masses where I'm like recording vocals 7 days straight or 5 days straight for, you know, 8 hours a day. So it was kind of a more relaxed environment too. And then, you know, 2 Mats and just, you know, took what Juan put down, you know, captured and just turned it into this sound. And Ted Jensen did the mastering of it. And he's another very popular guy. I think he's got some Grammys too.
Yeah, I can imagine, like, you know, the stress of releasing an EP is a lot less than it is to release a full length album. But I mean, even as an EP, what I would compare it to production wise would have to be one of my favorite albums from the previous year, which would be Blood on the Water by Flotsam and Jetsam, and has that really tight, crisp, locked in sound. And I understand that you tracked everything, but it really sounds like the band is playing as one unit, especially the 2 songs that have been released. I absolutely love it. And you got Christian, who was in Fear Factory, one of my favorite bands growing up, and you know, definitely loved his bass playing with Fear Factory. Yeah. So he definitely adds to that precision. I mean, you got a killer quintet in Vio-Lence right now.
Yeah,
yes, of course, and Bobby from Overkill, well, formerly of Overkill, now of Vio-Lence. So
yeah,
you know.
So you know, our thing was when we got Bobby. You know, when Phil and I were talking about doing a new record, that was like our 4th show. We were playing with Sacred Reich in Mesa, and you know, he wanted that down picking and that muted sound, and so Bobby and Perry, they were friends. They've been friends for a long time, and you know, Perry's always wanted to jam with them, so we had him over. And it wasn't about, you know, oh, can Bobby play the riffs? It was about, can Bobby be in the room with the 3 of us, you know? And same with Christian, you know, can we be in a room together? Because their abilities, there's no question that they can play their instruments, so it's the other part's way more important is like, do we all fit together in the same room and do we have a good time?
I can objectively say though, Phil was the reason why the particular band he was in, I grew interest in it. And it's nice to know that with Vio-Lence, he found someone like Bobby to just, really mesh with as co-guitar players.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd have to say like the stuff that I've heard, the two songs, well, I'll say it beats everything he did in the previous 2 decades. So
yeah, I'm hearing a lot of that. Well, okay. Well,
we won't name who, but we know who.
No, but he's kind of unbridled, and he's like, I'm just like a madman ready to go, and so you get that from him. And when we write, it's me and Phil, and Perry's in the room with the drums, and it's the riffs. Some of them are like, he came in with a few riffs, and we made one riff out of 2, and added some technical stuff to it, and it's easy to do because Phil, when you're writing, it's like it's coming off the top of your head. You're trying to figure it out on the neck of your guitar, and he does really well with it. He hears notes and he's able to move his fingers fast and make it work, and so I dig writing with the guy, because of that.
Has having him in the band changed your approach, like overall, to writing songs, or?
No, well, it's just Phil and I that write, and then Perry's in the room, and then we drive him crazy because we change shit. Once he gets it figured out, then we're like, oh man, you know what? That change would be much better if we did this. Add a couple notes to it or whatever. Yeah, so it kind of drives Perry crazy, and but this is what you get when you push, because we were pushing hard, and with COVID, we had all that time to write. We weren't practicing for shows, so we would practice sometimes 3 days a week, sometimes once a week, sometimes twice. It was depending on, where we're at with the song. And, I need to write vocals. So here's the parts. Let's do, and then I would take that and write, and then come back and try stuff out. So it was kind of a cool process in that, it was just the two of us, and he was open to everything. I mean, I play guitar and bass, so I couldn't sit there with Phil and write, but I could hum stuff, and he was always open to listening to it, and we made some good adjustments to the songs.
Did you
go ahead?
Did you overwrite? Is there other song that didn't make the EP?
No, there isn't. I have some music right now that I sent over to Juan. I got to go demo over it. So I haven't done that yet, but I got to go do that maybe next week.
I pulled out the Nothing to Gain, and it's Night of the Vinyl Dead label.
Okay.
It's real. It's a vanity label in Italy.
Yeah,
we sold that to. I know. That name is very familiar, so I know we did a deal with them to get that to that out in vinyl.
All
I
right,
want
say
the Italians and their
time-
love for zombies. It's amazing.
The first time it actually got pressed, I think, was by Bleeding Heart Records, but I don't know if they did vinyl or
I have the compact disc. I believe that is the label on the.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a huge collector, and I sell the shit online, so it was CD only, but yes, Bleeding Heart Records. And also, to connect it to the Bay Area scene, I also have a killer Laz Rocket release on Night of the Vinyl Dead.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh man, if you guys toured, that would just be insane.
We played with them at the Rock on Broadway in San Francisco. It was like our first actual supporting gig where we supported
Really?
the band. Yeah. I remember the microphone cord got all tangled up in my feet, and I fell off the stage. And that stage is high too. It's about 4.5 feet high.
Woo! Did you get
Yeah.
wounded?
Nah, come on.
Sean Killian, I forgot.
Can't
Hang on, I'm
stop
going to close
Killian.
this blind real quick.
No problem.
Hey Wayne, ask questions,
Ralph.
man.
Well, I'm trying to get in there, Ralph.
Yeah, sorry. I'm
Somebody's
half in the
whipping
bag,
out
but this is
records.
fun.
I've been quiet.
Yeah, when
You
went to go
call
get your
that
record.
quiet?
Well, Sean, how's your health going? Because you had the liver cirrhosis a while ago. How's
Yeah.
everything?
It's going good. It was my surgery was March 26, 2018. And yeah, my brother-in-law, it was a living donor program at UCSF, and my brother-in-law was a match. And so he donated 63% of his liver to me. And since it took me about 6 months to recover, and that kind of is what led to us getting back together, because so many people came out and helped out. You know, I just felt like, how do I repay these people? And that was the only way I could think of it. And, you know, then at the time, when I texted Phil, he was available. So, you know, I think he left Machine Head in October, and this was like the January after. But yeah, I'm feeling great, you know. Like everyone else, try to keep the weight off my belly if I can.
Yeah, it's not
So I like
easy.
my carbs.
Who doesn't, right?
It's a pain in the ass.
I posted I think it was the GoFundMe or something when you were having that issue, and I know a lot of people donated to that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks to me, man. Over 56,000 people on that.
Yeah,
And I just kept plugging it, you know, and I donated
thank you.
500, man.
Humble brag much, Ralph?
Well, the cool thing was about the benefits that, you know, the benefits show and Phil through a golf tournament with some help with some other guys, and the GoFundMe thing is like, you know, I worked right up until the day of my surgery. I was miserable, but you know, that helped to pay medical bills and to keep my kids' lives from not being drastically changed, because I was out of work for 6 months healing, you know. So that was a huge help.
Yeah, and plus your brother-in-law. I mean, I remember seeing you say that on the Zetro thing, where, you know, it's rare to find like a match like that, and that's amazing. You know, it's like you were meant to stay with us, man. You know,
I defy the odds. That's all I ever do.
I'm gonna let these guys talk. I just want to say,
Are you sure?
and I'll stay quiet for a while. Sean, really, I'm trying to keep my fandom down, but I just have to say this. If I was a chick,
Oh, no.
wait, hold on. If I was a chick, I still wouldn't bang you, but I would hook you up with my hot lesbian girlfriend. That's how much I love you, man.
Awesome. Who doesn't like a hot lesbian?
I'm gonna one up them. I'd let you bang my mom.
Is she hot?
Of course.
I am speechless.
All right. Well, that's the end of tonight's show. Thanks for joining.
I'm gonna be quiet now.
I don't know if that's possible.
Are you kidding me? I'm loving this. Ralph's
No, this
enthusiasm is
awesome.
like
Okay,
awesome.
This is, you know, this is what the show is.
If you want me to keep talking, I got more to say.
We didn't
I'm
say
sure.
that. Let Wayne ask some questions.
But Sean, when Vio-Lence broke up, what did you do? Like, did you continue with music at all?
No, so I was never in a band before Vio-Lence, and then I left Vio-Lence after Nothing to Gain, because I just didn't see this industry, you know, like there was any real hope for bands out there just trying to create, you know. And then I just went and got my contractor's license. Been working, you know, building stuff and working for big developers and raising my kids and you know, just doing that stuff, the dad stuff. You know, my daughter, she dances, and my son plays ice hockey. So he's 18. He plays for a junior hockey team. And my daughter's 14. She's a competitive dancer.
Oh, very good.
So that's what I've been doing, you know, just living the life. You know, I went, oh, this ain't paying much. I got to go find something that does pay good. And so I was able to build a career.
Now that you're back, how much do you notice things have changed since you left?
Well, you know, you got the information stuff everywhere, and what's cool is that, like, back in the day, you'd have a magazine write a shitty article about your album, and that was just it. Right now, a magazine writes a shitty article about you, and your fans go on there and attack. You know, so people can comment back, you know, as opposed to just reading the magazine, and there's no rebuttals or anything like that. So, you know, and same with fanzines at the time. But now you have the, you know, Information Society, and you know, word travels fast, and which is kind of a good thing for bands and businesses that are trying to, you know, create something. And that plus with the digital era, you know, you don't need what you used to need back in the day as far as financing. And so you're able to do it. Like we never wanted to have like a record label bid, you know, where labels are, you know, trying to compete to get our EP. You know, we just went straight to Metal Blade. And,
Right.
you know, Phil talked to Brian and we worked out a deal, and we only, you know, got the money that we needed to do what we needed to do. You know, it wasn't like you needed all this extra dough, you know, and we did it there at Juan's. So it wasn't like we flew somewhere or, you know, but I think too, is the labels, they could put out more product, you know, and, you know, I mean, Metal Blade, they're putting out stuff, seems like every day.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
we're kind of in line, you know, to put our stuff out in March, right? It's been ready for a while, but, you know, with manufacturing stuff, you just kind of get in the line. And so March 4th was our date, and, you know, we had deadlines to meet before that. But I think that the ability to do stuff digitally saves money and makes it more convenient. Like I can go down to Juan's, we just send him, you know, Phil records something on his Pro Tools and sends it to me, and then I write and I send it to Juan, and then I can go down there at a studio with a real microphone, a real setup, and record vocals as a demo. You know, we demoed a lot of this material. I demoed a lot of it with Christian. Because Christian has Pro Tools and he's just a genius at it. So he would bring his computer up to our studio, our practice studio, and we would demo there. You know, as opposed to having to go somewhere. As a matter of fact, California Uber Alice, we did in our rehearsal studio, and then Christian produced all of that himself. You know, he took it home with him, and so what you hear on there is all Christian's production. So it just makes things easier, you know. Like, dude, back in the day, I had a cassette. It was like picking up all the rooms, so you hear, you know, the cymbals and some guitar and a little bass, and then I'm like trying to write over that. And now it's like, you know, a lot better.
You can actually hear what's going on. I was going to ask, why did you pick that song to cover? That's a great song, by the way. I love the Kennedys, but
yeah. So when we played in Brooklyn at the Brooklyn Bazaar, we played "Living in the City" by Fear, and then we were going to play in Oakland. And we figured, well, let's play California Uber Alice. We'll throw it in the set, and you know, we were rehearsing it, and then everything shut down. So it was like we wrote Flesh from Bone and Screaming Always, and then Phil was kind of like, well, we should do something, put it out, you know, so we have something out there that people can listen to. And so, you know, we were like, well, let's do the Dead Kennedy song since we know it, you know. And like I said, we recorded in our rehearsal studio and put it out. I think some people were like a little critical, but we weren't. Like, we just put it out because we wanted to do something. We filmed it in Phil's bar that was closed at the time because of COVID. So
did you hear from Jello at all? Did he say anything about it?
We contacted him, you know, because we had to get the rights from Metal Blade, had to get the rights to use it, and then we contacted him, asked him if he was available, if he wanted to be in the video behind the bar. But he was not in town, I don't think, or he was leaving to go do something. And so that's Phil's wife behind the bar, Nurse Cratchit, is what we kind of likened her to.
That's Marta, formerly of Bleeding Through, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
I would assume that with doing a cover, it would just be a matter of having to pay mechanical fees to the original writers, which is Jello Biafra. You actually had to get permission from him to cover it?
I don't know how they did it. It's the label did it. You know, they got people.
They know people who know people who know
they
people.
Do.
There you go.
Well, me personally, I loved it. I love it better than the original song because, all due respect, could never stand Jello's voice. So
I like Phil. Dean loved Dead Kennedy, so we listened to it all the time when he was driving the van. You know, we were touring like Eternal Nightmare, and it wore on it. I wasn't a real fan of his voice, but his lyrics are amazing, and so, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Is it?
And, it's a good song. It's just Because one, it fit Vio-Lence's attitude, and outlook and everything, and then just your vocals just totally connected with me. I love it. Great cover.
Thanks, dude.
Is it on the EP, the cover?
It's a single.
I don't know.
No,
Yeah,
it's not on
I saw the
You
track.
don't know what's on your own EP?
I don't think I saw it.
Well, he's got to wait for Brian to press 6 different limited edition copies of each Slayer album first before they put it out.
Oh, we're on the 6th edition now. Okay.
Hang on, guys. I'm gonna turn this light on real quick. It's gonna get dark.
Hey, I've been quiet.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to detract from the interview. That's just one thing that has irritated
Yeah,
me about
I
Metal
don't know
Blade
if it-
lately. Seems like every month there's a new Slayer repress.
I don't know if it'll be on the album or the EP.
Well, it's not on the EP.
I didn't see it on the track
It's
listing.
not listed unless it's a hidden track or something. But
I think that dog might be hungry though.
The pizza?
will the dog be on the
That
EP?
dog sounds like Jello Biafra. No, just kidding.
She's like this big.
Will the dog
Sorry,
be on
Greg.
the EP?
No, the dog will not, but we'll be on this interview.
Yeah, it will be.
She'll definitely be on
I
this.
get tons of comments. Whose dog was that? And it's Sean's dog.
Yeah.
But and then you recently, I think it was last year, right? You just got over COVID.
Yeah, I got
Right.
COVID in August, and I had it in 2 weeks. It was kind of like I felt like crap, but
Right.
that third week I started having problems breathing because I got to be on. I'm here like I'm on COVID, and I'm taking my immune suppressant drugs for my liver. Thinking to
Right.
myself, this isn't really a good combination. This is going to catch up with me.
Yeah.
And so, the third week I went in, I was having a little bit of trouble breathing. So I went in and spent about 7 days there cycling through antibiotics and stuff. But I probably could have left after the third day. But like I said, I was going through the antibiotics. I was off
Right.
oxygen. I was on it when I first got there, but yeah. And, I'm fine.
No
It took
long-lasting
me a few
effects
weeks
or
to
anything?
recover. Huh?
Yeah. No long lasting effects or anything from it.
It took about 3 weeks to recover fully, where I could feel like I could breathe, because anything you do at that stage, you're like it's like you're winded. Even
Right.
getting up to go take a piss,
Right.
I
Were you
was
recording
winded.
anything during that time?
No, we were all done. We had
Okay.
shows booked, and unfortunately we had to cancel a bunch. Psycho Fest, and we had San Diego and LA and Portland and Seattle and the Alcatraz Fest in Belgium. Because at the time you just needed a PCR test to go
Right. Yeah.
over there,
Right.
which I'm sure is going to come back soon. But anyway,
I hope so.
yeah. So we missed out on 6 shows. We were on the main stage with I think Exodus was that night or the night before, but was it Napalm Death or something like that, or
That would be cool.
yeah, shoot, the guy in Corpse Grinder, that guy with
Oh.
Yeah,
right.
Cannibal Corpse.
Cannibal Corpse. It might have been Napalm Death that was headlining. It was him or Cannibal Corpse, one or the other. But we were on the big giant stage, and I'm in the hospital, and people are live feeding it, and I'm sitting there like, "Holy shit! Look at that stage! I could have been on fucking wind up in the hospital."
Sean, I just really want to say real quick, I'm really glad that you beat COVID because on Wayne, Greg, and Ralph know I just lost my mom recently.
Oh man, I'm
to
sorry.
it. Thank you. But unfortunately, COVID exacerbated. She had a condition called myasthenia gravis, which is an autoimmune disease. So, I'm happy for everyone who beats it. I'm, sad for anyone who's lost a loved one to it. I'm glad you're alive and well. So
Thanks. I'm sorry
Fucking A,
about
man.
your mom. That
Thanks,
must have
dude.
been
Appreciate it.
painful.
Yeah.
Ralph, I'll let you go. now.
Oh, you're gonna let me talk now?
I'll let you talk now. Oh, wait a minute. No, go ahead.
So what's your opinion on the 2022 midterm? Oh, no, just kidding. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I only talk politics on David from Havoc's,
No, we're
podcast.
apolitical. We're apolitical. Sorry, Ralph, go ahead.
Dude, forget politics. Since you have Ralph and I on here, I think the more important question for Sean would be DLR or Van Hagar?
Oh,
Uh,
Sean, my fandom to you depends on this.
Oh,
Yeah,
please.
David Lee Roth, dude.
Yeah,
Oh,
yes!
You're lucky.
He
You're
know-
lucky.
he knows
That's what I grew up on.
Wayne,
I mean,
you're fired.
I got that first record, the Van Halen record, and on Christmas, and I was like 13 or 14 or something. But yeah, that David Lee Roth. I mean, that's what I grew up on.
That's the greatest Christmas present one could ever ask for when it first came
Yeah.
out. Absolutely.
John, so you write, I mean, not only do you have the voice to match it, but you write these really, really demented lyrics. I mean, what do you get? Are you into like, like these serial killer movies or something like that to come up with such, like Calling in the Corner, that little section where you're talking about, the mother goes into the funeral home and stuff like that. Where do you come up with such crazy demented ideas?
He watches Disney films like Bambi. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Just pictures in my mind, as I try to think about, because I would, you see him on news wheeling out the body, and and they got to go through a whole process and open casket funeral, and it just kind of comes together. I don't know.
So when Eternal Nightmare was released, did the FBI profile you?
No, they probably should have. They probably still do if they did. Or they probably started yesterday.
Yeah, not for nothing, but anything that's in metal lyrics, I'm sorry, stuff that's on the news is 10 times worse.
Oh yeah. Well, I get a lot of my ideas from documentaries and reading, and I just try to think, when it comes to topics outside, I just try to think outside the box and what sounds cool, and like phobophobia. I didn't know anything about phobophobia. I just started looking up phobias and came across it, and I was just reading about stuff, and TDS, the drug song, and a lot of those songs too. It's like you have the different points of view, throughout the song, and it's funny because my dad was a cop and he read TDS, he read TDS. After the first couple of verses, he's like, "What the hell is this? Are you glorifying drug use?" I'm like, well, no, you got to keep reading it until the end, and then you'll get the whole message, and so there was a lot of like Engulfed by Flames. I just was like interested in that subject, so I started reading about it and looking up videos, and it just came out as one of the songs that I decided to write about, because it is demented.
Yeah. Did your parents like your music?
No, they didn't like it, but my mom, when she first heard the demo, she said to me, "Well, it sounds like it's professionally done." It's like, well, I had to sell my half stack to get my portion of the the funds, the $500 I needed, So yeah, and my dad, he's seen me a couple times. He's passed away since, but he's seen me a couple times at the Omni. I don't know if he saw me at the Stone. He might have just seen me at the Omni a couple times. But yeah, my mom would go all the time. As a matter of fact, if you look at Thrash of the Titans, and while we're on stage, if you look at stage right, she's standing there next to the stack with her purse and her sweater looking out, and then my nephew's sitting right below her. Yeah, you'll see my mom in there if you go look for her.
That's cool.
Yeah, I got to say, when I went to that show mainly for Vio-Lence, but I like all these other bands, and every band was so on that night. But there was an energy even before Vio-Lence came out. It seemed like the whole place was there for the Vio-Lence reunion.
Yeah.
And the first thing you did when you walked out, I don't know if you remember this. You walked out and you just said, "What the fuck?" And I was like, oh shit, here we go.
Yeah. Dude, we practiced 3 straight months for that show. Because we didn't want to go out there and fucking, piss our pants.
Killed it. And I don't know if you ventured into the bathroom after your set, but it was bloody. The bathroom was like, there was blood everywhere.
Really? Awesome.
Yeah, it was insane. And I got to say, most times when you watch like a concert video, it's like, it doesn't capture it like when you're actually there. But I got to say, that DVD you guys put out with the bonus disc of the Thrash, it really did capture that night. The vibe and everything. Like, I highly recommend. That's a great documentary too, with the late great Debbie Abono. It was like,
yeah,
and the poor thing you put, the poor woman you guys put her through, you know, I mean,
Yeah, we did.
yeah, but she's legendary, man.
She is.
If those that don't
She
know,
was great. You know, she was great for us on the road, and you know, no one wanted their grandma on the road with her, but you know, she took care of business. So all we had to worry about was playing and sound checking and eating and sleeping as much as we could.
That is one cool meme. Definitely.
Yeah.
so awesome that she was into this music or really believed in you guys, you know?
Yeah. When we went to, we were in New York, her daughter flew out, they went shopping, and then we have all these like expensive Gucci shit. They got all their bags in the van, and we're like, okay, we have equipment. There's like no room for us even, and you're bringing all these bags onto the van.
If you ever play Long Island, we'll take you to Tanger's Outlet. You'll get the Gucci stuff, but cheaper. So
Nice. I'm not James Hetfield.
I love that meme. Oh man.
When you guys go out on tour, do you stay in the bus or do you get hotels or stuff like that?
We don't do like you know, that corner thing. That's what 5 shows, and we do the Oblivion Access Fest in Austin the day, you know, before the day before Chicago, and so we get hotels. You know, we usually get a hotel for each of us, and we fly to our locations if we have to. You know, like we played Atlanta and Chicago. You know, you have to fly from Atlanta to Chicago, so you're there in time. But you know, I set up all the flights and all the rental cars if we need rental cars or Ubers and stuff like that.
Well, in Miami, you won't, because I'll drive you guys around. You can stay at my
Awesome.
place.
Yeah, well, a lot of the clubs, they do provide a driver, but not always.
Well, I'll drive you guys. You guys can stay in my house, but you ain't gonna sleep. I'm gonna talk your ass off.
In other words, this interview is going to go on until 3 a.m.
No. I've been good.
I'll go see him in Chicago, though. I'll be running the other way.
But Sean, is it safe to say though that I mean, it seems like what a lot of bands do, and I think I'd even have to credit maybe Twisted Sister for starting this. You know, kind of just like flying out for the weekend shows where they know they could get more people. Is that kind of along the lines of what you would probably do maybe after this tour with Coroner takes place?
Yeah, it is. That's what we did. That's what we did all through 2019. You know, we did weekends, and like, you know, we went to San Juan, Puerto Rico. The promoter flew us out, gave us a flat rate, flew us home. I think we took the long way. Same thing in Mexico City, but like around the States, some places offer that and some places don't. And so, you know, if they offer it, you take less money up front. If they don't, then you take more money because you got to pay for the flights and everything.
Yeah, that just seems like the more economically feasible and logical thing to do.
There's
Oh
the
my
Pinto.
God, that dog is so cute. Is that a Chihuahua?
That's a Chug. Her dad's a pug and the mom's a Chihuahua.
That's a puppy, right?
Yeah, she's 7 months. She
Wow.
won't get any bigger though. She won't get any bigger than this. But yeah, that's Pepita.
Okay, do dumbbell lifts with it. Yeah, that's so cute.
She's over here harassing me.
So now,
Hey, you know, you take a picture of her like that, that'd make a great picture disc single.
is
We treat our children like dogs. I'm sorry. Where did that come from?
Children are dogs.
so now Phil Demo is going to be touring with like helping out Overkill.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, you know, since Bobby's in your band, was there any like Bobby was like, did Bobby ever say like, what the fuck, really? I mean, I know those songs. Why are they asking? Out of every guitar player on the
Oh,
planet.
Bobby wouldn't play with them. No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I have talked to him about it, but
Yeah. So you know.
I know the bad blood there.
Yeah. But it's all surrounded by that, all the vaccine stuff and, you know, mandates and so some of the guys in bands, they don't want to participate in that. And so they need someone, and Phil, you know, we don't have anything booked until May. And so Phil goes out and, you know, does his thing with different bands. And he played that cruise with Lamb of God. And, you know, I mean, he's a great guitar player. He can pick up stuff real fast.
played with Slayer too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he picked that up in like 2 days or 3 days. He had to be on stage.
He's definitely the go-to guy. So.
Mhm.
Just out of curiosity, I mean, I know you guys are playing the Death Fest together, but I mean, Violence Corner, two of my favorite bands, but what led to you guys doing a tour together? It just seems so weird because Sweden, San Francisco.
Well, our booking agent, Aaron Gray at Heavy Talent, he helped put this together. I'm not sure if Corner's on the same booking agency as we are. And Destruction's on that agency in the States. And so I think Aaron, Corner guys were coming here. And so the two agents in the same company worked together to put the package together. So I don't know if they're going to stick around and do more shows or just do the 5 shows or.
Honestly, I wish they would. They're not to discount you guys in any way, but they're one of my favorite bands all time. I drove 6 hours to see them when they played Baltimore 12 years ago.
Right. Yeah, I heard they don't come here very often. So and I never really listened to Corner. I don't listen to a whole lot of metal. The early stuff, the classics, but like if you ask me who this band was, I'd be like, I don't know, who are they?
Well, what's your favorite Celtic Frost album?
Yes,
Morbid Tales.
Yes.
Morbid Tales.
Well, I hope you weren't
Best
betting on Cold Lake,
guest
Greg.
Ever.
I grew up on that before. I think I was listening to that before Megadeth's first record came out, and yeah. I mean, I come from the Bay Area scene from like when, because I went to high school with Cliff Burton. He was a friend of mine, and when they were in town during Kill 'Em All and Masters of Puppets, I helped him out on a couple shows here in the Bay Area. And I just come from that scene and seeing like Slayer. My first thrash show was Slayer at the Keystone, Berkeley, and they still had the black makeup under their eyes. But that was like my first thrash show, and then I saw them a couple nights later at Ruthie's Inn, and seen Exodus at Ruthie's and Possessed, and all the bands from the Bay Area as they were kind of growing. And then our second wave, we kind of I think I played Ruthie's once, and then the rest of the times we were either playing the Stone or the Omni, or on Broadway or Mabuhay Gardens or something like Keystone, Santa Clara, or Palo Alto, wherever the hell it is. Yeah. But yeah, it's like it's kind of cool that, because at the time you were just like punks hanging out, you loved the thrash metal, and the bands were really exciting because they're all young and hungry, and the shows were awesome. And I remember Ruthie's, the ceiling wasn't that high, and Toby Rage, he would just come off the stage walking across people's heads, so you always had to keep an eye out for Toby, or Andy would jump off the stage, like and you get the karate kick in the head, or and I've seen Paul Bailoff just destroy this dude that was in the middle of the pit with like he might have had the Union Jack tank top on, but yeah, Paul just got him from behind and just like smashed the dude. It was like, oh man, a lot of crazy shit happened in that club.
Were you friends with Paul?
Yeah, we hung out. He and I hung out a lot, actually. I used to help out Exodus on Bonded by Blood, like if we went to Sacramento or they played. I think they played the Kabuki Theater with Megadeth. They might have been over. I think they were over Megadeth at the time, and yeah, but we did hang out a lot.
Do you have any
Seven
crazy
is actually,
stories about that guy? Because I know there's many stories about Mr. Paul Bailoff. He used to have a business card to like wreck your house and stuff. He did.
Well, when we went to Sacramento, I remember me and my friend Don Griggs, we showed up in the morning because they're heading out, and Paul showed up. He had a little box with a dead mouse in it that he found in a mouse trap in his house, and he had it with him all day. And then after the show, we were at some after party, and some chick passed out, and he pulled out the mouse and dropped it right in her mouth.
Oh.
Yeah. She came out of the room fucking screaming once she realized what happened. We were all
family
okay,
entertainment.
Time to go.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what you were saying, like you're just into the old metal. Like what are your main influences? Who would you say is like your favorite bands growing up, you know, before
Well, I listened to punk a lot back then, and I listened to, you know, Bonded by Blood and Show No Mercy and, you know, all the classics. But when I write, I'm not like, I wouldn't say like, there's no sound I'm trying to get. It just comes, I just write and that's what comes out, you know? So it's not like I'm chasing this sound. It's more of me, just my demented way of putting, you know, vocal patterns over thrash metal, and, you know, and the way I sound. It's not like I tried to do that. It just, that's what came out when I first started writing. And, you know, this album's a little bit more different because I put a lot more into it, and, you know, more mature than I think I was like 20 or when I wrote, you know, Eternal Nightmare lyrics, and maybe 19 for some of them. I can't remember, but we always partied at my house. You know, my mom, she moved to Holland when my brother and I were 18 and 19. So her house turned into the party house, you know? Yeah. And so, you know, there's just a lot of people from that scene would come out to the house, and we'd be at, you know, after shows, you go to Metallica house or where Bailoff lived, and there was like a studio in Oakland. We always used to go there after shows. Yeah. So it's like, am I influenced by anything? I'd have to say more punk than anything. I think that's why back in the day I spit out lyrics like I was, because I wanted that kind of punk sound, you know, but it wasn't like I was trying. You know, today I hear a lot of bands, and it's like they're chasing this sound, and, you know, it's like you can listen to Sirius XM, and I'd be driving down the highway, I wouldn't know if one band ended and another began if I wasn't paying attention. Right. Which, you know, it is what it is.
Well, that's the thing about Vio-Lence. I mean, there was nobody that sounded like you at the time. Like, you know, you mentioned before, like Phobophobia. There was a time where my band wanted to record it, and I was like, there's no way I can do that. You know, because the way you deliver Phobophobia is like even extra crazy with so many words, and, you know, like, and it was so original. You know, it's just an original. You had an original approach to your vocals that I don't think any thrash. Well, I know no thrash bands had. You know,
Ralph, was this Thrash or Die or Combat wanted to cover it?
Thrash or Die, actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, I think a lot of those bands, because, you know, if you listen to Bonded by Blood, it doesn't sound like, you know, with Paul leading the band and those killer riffs that they wrote, it doesn't sound, you know, like Slayer, and Slayer doesn't sound like Megadeth, and I think that's and they don't sound like Suicidal, who come up all the time, and, you know, and Possessed. I mean, they basically started death metal, you know, and they were out playing before some of these other bands, but they all sound distinctly different, you know. And Testament, you know, with Chuck, and Death Angel with Mark, and so that's where I see that the resurgence of thrash, I think, is a good thing for music, because you know, none of us ever sounded like each other, and we never, you know, sounded like, you know, you couldn't pick out a thrash metal band that sounds like any band that's young coming out with new music today.
Was it? I might have the band wrong. Was it Scarecrow you produced back in the day?
No, it was
with Will Carroll.
Yeah, well, I did a band called Chaos, and then I did. They're gonna kill me if I don't fucking remember. Oh man, it's gonna come to me here. I just actually they're gonna re-release it. It's with Ted and Will Carroll, and I just did a 3-question, you know, write-in interview, because they're gonna re-release the demo. I guess they got somebody to pick it up.
Right on. Yeah. I want to hear it, because Will told me that, oh, Sean produced my band. I didn't know if it was Scarecrow or not. Not just like you, I can't remember the name of the band.
Yeah, it'll come to me. But yeah, I helped them out, and I got Rob and Phil donated their Marshalls so that they had something decent to record on, because they didn't have anything really good. And, you know, like, I had them stay at my house and fed them spaghetti, and it took us like 3 days. Not at Prairie Sun. What was it? I forget the name of the studio too. It was in Livermore.
Did you do a lot of producing?
No, not much. Just like, like I'm still the same as I was back then. Like I like the young bands because they have sounds that, and so when I go to shows, I don't go see Testament and Exodus and Death Angel. I go see like, maybe Zet's kids band, Hatriot, and I'll be there for the first band because I want to hear all these young kids and what they're doing. And it's just, a lot of times it's the first band that goes on that's the best. But the last Hatriot show I went to a few weeks ago, the first band was pretty good, but the third band they did really good. And, that's how you see new stuff. I've always been that way, and that's kind of why Warfare DC.
Right.
I'm looking up some of the stuff that you produced.
And,
Warfare DC,
Yeah.
Pigs, Extinction.
Yeah.
That's all I see here. So. Go ahead, Ralph.
I'll let you guys talk. I'm going to keep going.
Well, no. What I was going to say was, and I was actually going to say, I'll save you, Ralph. I'll say, or Sean. I mean, when he couldn't remember the band's name, I'll say something inflammatory a little bit, piss some people off. Why the fuck not? But I'm 15 to 20, whatever, younger years older than most of these, or younger than most of these guys. So I heard Vio-Lence and all that a lot later on, and Vio-Lence really stuck out to me because it was so different. I mean, I guess being in the scene, you wouldn't hear it, but Testament, Forbidden, bands like that. Yes, Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, they followed the new wave of British heavy metal line and kind of took it further and laid it down and all like that. But Vio-Lence was something completely different to me, really. You guys had an energy and a way of playing and a way of singing that was just bam, in your face, a lot of power.
Yeah, well, we always wanted to be the fastest and the heaviest and the most intense Bay Area thrash band. And there was a lot of competition back then. It's good competition, but we all look back and go, "Oh yeah, that was friendly competition." But back then, when you're freaking got testosterone pumping through you, and everyone wants to be the best, and, we were always like, "We're gonna be the fucking heaviest, and we're gonna be the fastest, and we're gonna be all of that." And, try to catch it.
Well, I think you guys accomplished it. I mean, let's face it. Eternal Nightmare and Testament did Practice What You Preach around the same time. It just, not to cut on them. I don't want Chuck Billy coming trying to kick my ass or anything. And I like Testament too, but it's just what was going on at the time. It's just this amazing breath of fresh air. The energy that heavy metal really had in the early 80s, Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell, Celtic Frost, Morbid Tales, just all kinds of different things. That's what Eternal Nightmare was really like. You guys totally accomplished it. And with the new EP, you're still on the same path.
Yeah, well, because we don't want to compromise. We want to be still heavier and faster and more intense and more vulgar and more offensive and all those things put together. I mean, that's what metal to me is. It's not, heavy metal. It's like, I can't see myself singing about, my girlfriend, it just doesn't fit. Right. And so for me, it's like when I write lyrics and vocal lines, I just think metal, and not anything else. And, I don't try to make, take two things and make them one. Just for me, it doesn't work. It's got to be hard. It's got to be heavy. It's got to be fuck you. It's got to be all that.
I can totally see you singing about killing your girlfriend.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I wouldn't do that.
It's
Kind of like TSOL Cold Blue. I want to fuck the dead.
Yeah, dude. Why would they say that? For no other reason than to offend somebody. And that's what I enjoy the most. It's like if my lyrics offend you, like Torture Tactic for Atlantic Records, well then cool.
Thank God.
Maybe you needed to be offended.
good art is meant to offend.
Thank God
Yeah.
for Caroline Records that put it out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shit.
You're
What
right.
was I
Brain
going to
fart,
say?
Greg?
Yeah.
I'm quiet because I don't
Well,
want
no. I was going to say I always found that funny, you know. And I mean, granted, I was like a fucking toddler at the time, so wasn't there to comment on it and all then. But I always found it funny that torture tactics pissed people off so much because your lyrics and violence, they were always pretty intense and descriptive and graphic, but you have a way of writing similar to Leaving, actually, from Fear, one of my favorite bands.
One of my heroes.
I just don't think anyone really it stood out to the masses, so to speak, until Torture Tactics, because you're so good at linguistics. That was more blatant, but something like Call for the Coroner or Eternal Nightmare as a whole just blew right past them.
I got to say, Greg, not to cut you off, they are brutal lyrics and Kill on Command, but Torture Tactics, that one's pretty brutal, man. You know, it's like the daughter and, you know, the way they would torture people. Isn't it true, Sean, that it did end up on Oppressing the Masses and then they destroyed all the copies that had it on there?
So it was to be released like 30 days, and then some executive at Atlantic saw the lyrics and put the kibosh on that song. At the same time, releasing Two Live Crew, Me So Horny, going, look, we stand for freedom of speech, but not that speech, because that hurts my feelings. You know? You can talk about asses all day long.
Man,
I love Me So Horny. Sorry, just kidding.
That's a good song.
man, fuck Two Live Crew. This is about violence.
Go ahead, Ralph. I see you itching over there.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say,
That's just herpes.
you know, it's the great thing about herpes. You only catch it once.
Touche.
Well, the gift that goes on forever.
Ralph, I gotta agree with that, and I'm not just sure. I'm HIV positive.
Yeah.
Wayne, take your show back.
Doesn't matter anymore. Go ahead, Ralph.
Be negative for now. But yeah, what else, man? Now I'm having brain fart. Like, go on. I know I'll think of something.
One thing I
somebody else
did,
go.
I did want to ask Sean, just because I see you know, reading through different types of media, whether it be magazine or internet over the years, it always mentioned that you guys were like really tight with Laz Rocket, but
well, they were East Bay guys. They were from the Tri-Valley, where Chuck's from, and Phil and Zet, and that's the funny part. It's like, oh, the San Francisco Bay Area thrash scene. It's like, well, I don't think anyone but Death Angel is actually from San Francisco. The rest of us were all from the East Bay and Dublin and Livermore, and you know, I lived in Castro Valley. You know, so they all knew each other really well. I mean, Ed Billy was playing bass in this band before Dean.
yep. And Ray was in Forbidden Evil as well, wasn't he?
Rob, yeah.
Rob, I'm sorry.
They practiced right across the hall from us. We stole them. They were so pissed off. They I don't think Craig LaCicero will ever forgive Violence for that.
You said Violence.
Well, it happens.
Violence was your first band. You didn't do anything before Violence, like even jam with a band locally or practice with anybody?
No.
So how did it happen? How did you get the gig? Because I know Violence was already around before you.
Yeah. So Jerry, we all worked together at this place. We took Subarus off of ships and processed them, put mag wheels on them and cleaned them and everything, and sent them out on trains and trucks. And it was Greggy Christian worked there, Zet worked there. You know, Dean, Phil, Dean's brother Dave, Eric Peterson, I think, worked there. So when Jerry left the band, you know, Dean was like, well, hey, Jerry left the band. We don't have a singer. And so I went up to Phil and said, hey, I'll try that. Why not? You know, I dig metal. So when I went to try out, they gave me the lyrics and I was like, oh, I don't even get this. So I rewrote the lyrics. And so I went to try out, and I come in, I'm like, yeah, well, I rewrote the lyrics. And they're like, who the fuck does this guy think he is, And then I did the 3 songs that Phil gave me. And then I didn't hear from him. And I saw Phil at Ruthie's Inn in the parking lot. I was like, hey, so what's up? And he's all, well, Jerry decided to come back to the band. And then I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. And I think it was a few weeks later, they came back at work, said, hey, so Jerry left again. You want to try out again? I was like, yeah, sure. So that's how I got in the band. But no, I was never in a band before or after,
Wow, man. And you came up with this style of singing. Well, this style of singing, maybe you got some from some certain punk band, or is that just originally you? Because I never heard anybody deliver.
I just wrote the lyrics like I heard them come, because I would listen to the music and just write lyrics on top of it. I still do it the same way. And that's just what I hear in my head, And for me, it's like the pattern, the vocal pattern is often the hardest piece for me to pull together. And then the lyrics come pretty quick after that. I mean, there's a couple songs that took me a little bit of time to write, but, Gato Negro took me a little bit of time. But once I get the pattern, the lyrics kind of come easy, because I'm not necessarily thinking about words as direction, where I want to go, where do I want to take this, and so that's kind of how it comes out. It's how it's always come out of me,
Right on.
So I'm pretty fortunate in that, and I'm fortunate that I don't know, writing lyrics for me is kind of simple. I don't know. I mean, they're pretty tough. I mean, the lyrics are pretty in depth, but there's only a few times I actually struggled to write the lyrics to a song. It's usually the pattern that takes me a little more time.
Did Mentally Afflicted come to you like kind of quick?
Mentally Afflicted, it came pretty quick. I wrote that bass riff. Yeah, I wrote that. It was funny is when Christian was working with us, he was just like, man, who fucking let the singer write a riff? Because it's such it'll tie your fingers in knots, And but yeah, that one came pretty easy. I think it was like TDS took me a little bit of time to write. And you get blocks, so you stop and do it come back to it a couple days later when you have that. But once I get on a roll, it's like, oh yeah. And so then I can go back and I just write what comes in my head too. And then a lot of times I'll go back and edit it, change words, maybe that have different number of syllables. And cause I'm thinking about that too, how does it fit?
Phobophobia, that might've been tough, right?
Actually, the lyrics came out pretty quick.
Wow.
For Phobophobia. Yeah.
A real busy one.
And Kill on Command was pretty easy. Eternal Nightmare took me a little bit of time, but that's the first song I ever wrote lyrics to.
Right on. All right, guys.
That's cool.
Getting to the new EP. Did you want to do an EP, or did you want to maybe do an album?
No, Phil and I, when we were in Mesa there, we were talking about doing it. And then it was like, well, I don't want to get bogged down trying to do some 10-song album, and we haven't written anything, for a long time.
Yeah.
And so it was we both agreed that four songs would work, and we could put out a 4-song EP. And then, as we're writing, that turned into 5 songs because we got on a roll. And like I said, Flesh from Bone was the first song we wrote, and then Screaming Always, and then what was the third song? I think it might have been Let the World Burn. I think it was Let the World Burn, and then Gato Negro, and then Upon Their Cross. That's kind of how we wrote them, in that order.
Yeah.
But yeah, we never thought about writing an album. And even today we talk about, well, we'll only do like 5 songs, or, the EP format's good because then we can get music done and get it out,
Right. I was gonna say, because like the way things are now, like with the digital stuff and everything, it seems like a lot of bands are kind of somewhat doing away with a full album and releasing songs, every month or something, or doing like EPs like you guys are gonna do.
Yeah.
So maybe that might be the smart way, because that's supposedly that's how Spotify wants people to do things, because it gets your music out there more often.
Yeah.
I don't it's a cool new thing to try out, and hopefully it works.
Yeah, because I mean, it takes bands a couple of years between albums, sometimes 3 years,
Right.
to go out and
That's true.
tour that record and then come back to the studio and write another one. And so it's like, it just seems like a lot of work. You have to write a full-length album.
You told me the lyrics. You don't know this, but this is a funny story. I have my guitar player who joined the band at 17. He would call me almost every day just to talk about you. That's all he would call me about your lyrics and certain things. Well, for his birthday, I ordered a cameo for you to do for him. And
you did?
Yeah, and I got the money back. And then I got the money back because you didn't do it for some reason. But then the next day, you sent me like the cameo saying, look, I'm sorry, I don't know the apps on my phone, or I didn't see it, or something like that.
Yeah.
And happy birthday. And you recited some of the lyrics to Flesh and Bone. And boy, you made his day. And when
awesome.
And then he called me like, for several weeks after that, reciting those lyrics. Man, I can't wait to hear the song. It's so Killian, it's so demented, it's breathing, die, and your last. I breathe your last breath. Is that what it was? It's just classic, whatever it was.
It's inhaling their. I stand on cowards, inhaling their last breath.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. Yeah, he was very.
It's a vision. It comes to my head, dude. It's like, I don't know. It's just what I see, and then I just say it. And the thing about the lyrics for this EP is, unlike Calling in the Corner, which in some of the other songs, which are very specific, this is more like me trying to take what I see in my head and put it down in words, and then I'm hoping that when people read the lyrics, they're seeing images in their head that are their own images. And a lot of times, I do interviews and like, oh, we'll describe the song and what does this mean and what does that mean, and the song, and it's like, well, it's about this. I give them a vague, like Gato Negro is about Edgar Allan Poe's Black Cat. It's loosely kind of structured around that, but it's like, I don't want to go in. I don't like to go in lyrics because I want someone for the first time to read the lyrics and have that picture in their mind, and then every time they hear that song, that picture comes to their head. Like, if they're at a club and they're there to see, Butcher Babies and the DJ plays, Flesh from Bone, and those images pop into their heads. That's kind of what I was after this time.
To make the listener come up with their own conclusion?
Well, just their own images. When you read a book, you kind of see your mind's eye starts, showing you the images to your brain and what you think the authors, like you put yourself in that scene, if there was no Lord of the Rings movies, you read Lord of the Rings and you're trying to imagine what it's like, that's kind of what I was shooting for.
Right on. Yeah, I can't wait, man, for this to come in. All right, guys.
I can't either. I was listening to the 2 new songs today, and they're really good, great. I love the production, like we talked about earlier, and it sounds very organic. I'm a drummer as well, and the drums sound awesome. They don't sound fake like all these new bands are putting out lately. Everything sounds fake and processed and not like a real band or anything. And everything on at least these first 2 songs that I've heard so far are really awesome. And
Perry worked hard in the studio. He and Phil was. I didn't go for Perry's sessions. It's like you have to read the room and know who's the musician is, and it's like I didn't want to be down there staring at him while he's trying to do these drum tracks that are insane. And so Phil was down there with him a lot, and Juan just did a great job drawing it out of him. And I was there for I forget what song, but only maybe a couple takes that he did, some cleanup takes, and he would do a roll and then they'd be like, no, man, that's weak, dude. You're not even trying. And they were just talking shit to him and he was getting so pissed. And then he would bust it out and then they'd go, yes, exactly. You got to get your emotions into it. Yeah. Perry's emotional.
Was he doing anything before you guys got back together?
Perry, I think he did a couple things with Zet, and he might have
Oh, okay.
talked about working with Bobby, but I don't think they ever recorded anything.
He wasn't involved with Dublin Death Patrol, was he?
No.
I'm
No,
not
okay.
sure about that
I was-
totally.
No, I was the drummer for Tesla, actually. That
Oh, okay.
was-
Troy Lucetta?
yeah, that was the
No
drummer.
kidding. Oh,
'Cause
Yeah,
he's-
like I said, these guys are all from like that Tri-Valley, Dublin, Pleasanton, Livermore area.
Very cool.
That's why I
All right,
crack
Ralph.
up when I hear San Francisco Bay Area. It's like the furthest thing from reality. I mean, the clubs we played, the Stone was in San Francisco on Broadway in the Louis Gardens, but the bands were, Exodus, I think they were in Berkeley, and Possessed was in like Pinole.
Do you have a favorite show that you've played?
We did the Beer and Metal Festival in Orange County a couple of years ago, and on a December. That was a really good show. It's like we really were coming together. That's when Ray and Dean were on stage at the time with us, and we had played a few shows. We played Denver the weekend before, so we came in there really kind of tight, and the crowd was awesome. And Carcass was the headliner, and we were the direct support. So it's like that night felt really good. And then doing the festival in Belgium, the Alcatraz Festival in front of all those people, it's like, holy shit, this is incredible. But for us, it's like anything club, right? Anything where I can get my hands on you and get in your face is what I enjoy. The festivals are awesome because a lot of people that have never heard of you are there and they hear you. And the European festivals, they just love music, and and you get to play in front of the big crowd, but you have this distance between you and the audience. And so on Bloodstock or on Alcatraz, I got off the stage and went and stood on the barrier, so I could get that same energy going. I think that was the first song we played, Eternal Nightmare. We played Eternal Nightmare, the album, all the way through that night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then went on and played some other songs. But yeah, for me, it's all the live stuff. But that show in Orange County, that Decibel Metal Beer and Metal Fest, that was fun. I think Possessed played the night before on Friday. They headlined Friday, and yeah.
Now I always like to ask too, what's the worst show you've done?
The worst show we've done.
Rat Salad review. No, just kidding.
That's the worst show I've ever done.
The worst show, was it Columbus, Ohio? We'd play. It's where there's an Ivy League school there. I want to say it's Cornell or something like that, but I can't remember the school name. But I knew it was an Ivy League school. Every time we go, it would be like it's like this big fucking place, this big theater, and we were there with Voivod, and Slayer was playing the same night somewhere else. I think we had one string of people at the stage.
Oh my God.
It was like, fuck, this sucks. We were crossing paths, the tour. Yeah.
That sucks. Ralph, you got
Yeah,
anything else?
We still had a good time, we still put it out.
Yeah.
Because the people that are there, they're there to see. You don't want to disappoint them, even if it's two people.
Remember, it's not the quantity of the people; it's the quality of the people. That's
Yes.
what matters.
That's all that matters.
Yep.
Have you ever encountered, Sean, like a really demented fan? Since these lyrics.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a good friend of mine, and he's that guy. He knows all the lyrics. He like screams them in restaurants. Breakfast.
Airplanes.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Like when the food's over, does he say $1 million paycheck?
But he says the more vulgar stuff, but he just does like you just did, a one line, he doesn't like recite the whole song, but he'll do one of those lines in there,
You should start charging him royalties.
For it. What the fuck?
Like he'll be like, head stopping boots.
Bodies on bodies. So with Bobby living in Florida, do the rest of the band members live from close proximity, or
well, Christian's in Dallas. He's just outside of Dallas. He was in Venice Beach, but he got out of California. Pretty smart move. And then you know, I'm out here in Sacramento, Phil's in Dublin, and Perry's in Manteca. But when we were coming together like a week before the show that had, you know, played, and we would just practice every night and 5 nights straight and then go do the show. And because they're such good musicians, it's like, you know, that's about all you need to get them up to speed. And it was in the beginning when Rob was, or not Rob, but Bobby was trying to learn the songs, and there's little nuances in there that you just can't hear. But if you don't play it right, then it gets off. And so he was, you know, Phil was like really working hard with him to get those down. And it's the bass can do the bass thing, you know, and Christian tries to follow every note. And the dude's, he's just, his picking hand is like a beast, you know, it's like its own person doing its thing. It's like this monster on the end of his wrist. But yeah, so you know, Bobby, it took him a while, but yeah, so now we just come together. And when we recorded, Bobby did his tracks, I flew him out, and, you know, the band flew him out, and he did his tracks. And, you know, Christian, he doesn't fly very often. He's got like one of these big travel vans, and so he'll jump in his van and cruise wherever. I flew him out for the video shoot because it was just one night, but if he comes to practice, he drives from Dallas. He's a traveling man.
How did Bobby end up in the band? How did that happen?
He and Perry are friends, and, you know, they've been friends for a long time. And then when Phil was thinking about the record, you know, the new songs, that all he could think about was, I need a muted guitar player that does down picking. And, you know, Bobby fit in well. Ray, you know, he did a great job for us, but he's a punk rock guitar player. So he, you know, a lot of open strumming, and so we had to make that change to record. So we got the sound that we were looking for.
Right on. All right, guys. Hopefully, I'm gonna get Sean alone on my channel. Hey, Sean, man, I got 25,000 subscribers. You got to
Awesome.
come to my channel after the album's out. And
Okay, get a hold of Tom. Tom sets up all my interviews.
Right on.
Yeah. He's a good guy. And the cool thing about Metal Blaze, they all work really hard to get, you know, to support the bands that they have on their label.
Right on. All right, guys. You got any questions?
Tom's been really good. Tom's been really cool. He set up this interview, so I really appreciate Tom for doing that. And
yeah, I met him in Chicago. He came out to the Chicago show, you know, when we played there recently. So I actually got to meet him face to face.
Oh yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Actually, there was somebody else that was doing the Metal Blade stuff, and then she actually quit and did her own. She's on her own now and doing her own thing.
Is she working for Roadrunner now? No, just kidding.
No.
It wasn't Joey Vera's.
Yes.
I know.
No. Mm-mm.
No, and I meant no disrespect against Metal Blade with the Slayer
did.
cracks. I'm just a sarcastic asshole. Fine, I fucking meant it. Is that what you want?
Don't feel bad.
You know what, Wayne?
I
New
heard the
York's
tone in your
all right
voice.
if you like saxophones.
Yeah,
so fuck
beer.
off.
So many of us. There's so many of us.
Hey man, we gave the world the
well,
Cro-Mags. Come on, spare New York.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know what? I think there's another cold one down here in the bottom.
we actually got to play with Cro-Mags in Montreal with Voivod when we were on the Voivod tour. Great group of guys.
You guys played.
Voivod's like my favorite band of all time, so that's amazing.
I did get to see you guys with Voivod in Miami Beach at the Cameo Theater. I'll never forget. That was the first time I saw you. And then the Riot show, which we talked about before the show. So hopefully Wayne will send me this video so I can plug it on my the Hallandale Button South show. But yeah, the Voivod show was sick. That was the first time I saw you guys with on the Eternal Nightmare. You guys came here twice, and you came here on Oppressing the Masses, which was not a huge tour, right? I mean,
No, there's us in Defiance, local band from the Bay Area. They just put out a record. We took them with us, and you know, we had some issues with our management at the time. You know, Debbie wasn't with us, and we hired this guy who was a total clown. And so, yeah, we had some good shows, and then we had some shows where it's like, oh shit, did you promote the show? Does anyone even know we're here? And we were following the Exodus tour.
that was, you guys played a venue called the Thrash Can. That was short-lived, but it was a great show. It wasn't a bad turnout, actually. It was a pretty good turnout. But the only bad thing about that venue was there was a big pole in the middle.
Yeah, wasn't that like a punk place where there
Yeah,
was
it
mostly hardcore, you know?
Yeah,
punk and-
it was a
yeah.
punk, a lot of graffiti on the walls, and it was
Yeah.
very narrow, and it had a big pole in the middle. And during your set, there was just, you know, the pit would erupt, and everybody just kept bashing into the pole, hurting themselves. But that was a great. I mean, it was early in the tour, and again, here's a little fanboy moment. I was up front when you guys were doing Many Afflicted, and you were like giving me a high five because I kept saying with you, call me, man. Guy knows the song because the album was fairly new at the time. You know?
Yeah.
But,
Now, if I mess up the lyrics, everyone up front looks at me like, hey, dude, you just fucked up.
When Ralph said big pole, I thought he was referring to my 6'7" Polish father-in-law from Brooklyn, but I don't think he meant that pole.
That's pretty tall.
I look up to him.
I'm sure you do.
Glad somebody got it for once.
Oh, and aside from that, I just think we should all take a second out to acknowledge that Vio-Lence and Voivod, Eternal Nightmare and Dimension Hatros.
Yeah.
That could have been the greatest fucking tour ever.
I saw
So they were part of the Testament tour. So it was Testament, Voivod, Vio-Lence, and that's when I think Piggy might have got sick at the time, and so they had to cancel and then reschedule. I think he had to go through some chemo at the time.
Wow.
Yeah. So that would have been killer, Testament, Voivod, Vio-Lence. And that's what it was originally packaged as.
I'm fortunate I got to see Voivod once. Jason was the bassist in the band at the time. So it was Second Stage Ozfest, and they were amazing. And I got to meet Piggy. Such a nice guy, you know, such a loss.
Yeah. Yeah. They're all nice. I mean, when we were on tour with them, they were all nice to us. And, you know, they knew, I mean, we don't speak any French, and they were speaking French all the time, but they taught us all the bad words.
Well, that's the important thing. That's what counts.
Yeah, Michael's pretty good at that. Love Voivod.
You know, it's just funny talking about Voivod. It's just, you know, friends of mine told me that there used to be a club out here on Long Island in a town called Bay Shore, a town called Sundance. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it was a very big metal hardcore club in the 80s and early 90s. It was Voivod, Soundgarden, and Faith No More on a tour together. And like, you know, I because when that tour came to New York, I was like 10. So
is that Long Island?
Yes, that's Long Island.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I just feel like so cheated that all these great tours I missed out on because I was too damn young.
I saw that tour, but Faith No More wasn't on it. But yeah, the first time I ever heard Soundgarden was when they opened for Voivod.
We were recording Oppressing the Masses, and they were playing in Syracuse, so we drove up to Syracuse to see them, and that was their first record tour. And there was probably maybe 100 people in the club. It was a great show, but yeah, that's when they were brand spanking new.
Yeah, no, I was
Soundgarden.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. What's that club in Syracuse?
Lost Horizon.
Has that been around a long time, or that sounds familiar?
I'm not sure. I mean, Syracuse is about 4 hours north from where we live out here, but I know that's like the big venue, especially that I can recall in the last 20 years that's actually had metal shows. So, I mean, around here, unfortunately, COVID closed a lot of Long Island venues, but you know, some new ones are trying to open up. I know that Mulcahy's in Wantagh, they just had Accept play there.
Oh, sweet.
So, but unfortunately, I was sick, so I couldn't go. But you know,
yeah, we recorded Oppressing the Masses in Ithaca.
Mm-hmm. And now that was with Alex Perialis, or
with Alex.
That's
and here's a funny story. The first gun I ever had, my dad bought for my brother and I. It was a 22 long rifle, lever action, and it was the brand was Ithaca. It was, and so the facilities, the building's still there. When we were there recording Oppressing the Masses, I don't know what's happened to it since, but yeah, it was just kind of a weird, because when we got there, I was like, this is the place that made my 22 long rifle. My dad got me when I was 9.
It was meant to be.
Well, that's That's a,
Yep, and that goes along with Voivod too. War and Pain.
and that studio's classic. That's where SOD,
Yeah.
all those Megaforce albums were pretty much done there.
Yeah. Well, Alex is just a great guy. We would go and party at his house, and crash the fucking car, the rental car, and and put holes in the wall, wrestling in the hotel, and
You lived it.
yeah. There's like a waterfall that goes through town, and we were there in the middle of winter, so everything was frozen. We had the day off, so we were going to go hike up the waterfall, and there's a trail on the side, and Perry was all, "Oh man, we got to bring some rope." We're at the supermarket, and we're like, "Rope? I only get $20 a day, man. It's like I'll cut into my booze money, and I want to eat something." So we're hiking up the trail, and that's all of us. We're all like, "Fuck no, Perry, we ain't buying no fucking rope." We're hiking up the trail. Perry slips off we're at the top, so it's level. Perry slips off the trail onto the fucking creek that's on ice. He's like, like a cat, We're all, "Perry, where's your rope?" We had to tie our scarves together to pull, and dude, the ice it was probably about that thick, so it was pretty thick, but the water was rushing. It was clear, so you could see right through it.
Oh man,
Yeah.
it didn't break though. The ice didn't break.
No, he would have gone. He probably would have died. He would have gone down the waterfall under the ice, drowned. But yeah, that's a funny story.
Wow.
Maybe now it is.
So the whole oppressing the masses thing was do you think it was like a debacle as far as promotion goes because of the firing of Debbie Abono?
Yeah, well, Maria and Debbie were great friends, and it was kind of a stupid move on our part, but we were young and we didn't know any better. And at the time, she wasn't able to help us. She was going through some skin cancer, and so it was like, well, we really don't have a manager. We're recording a record and stuff, but that was probably the biggest bonehead move we ever made, for sure.
Yeah,
But we're all knuckleheads, 20-something-year-olds.
well, live and learn. I mean, she seemed grateful anyway in the documentary. She didn't seem, hurt about it or anything.
No, she was always just really nice, and it's really cool. And the great thing is she helped so many young bands, with
Ralph,
and,
you were interviewed. Oh, I'm sorry, Sean. I thought you
no,
were
and like she would welcome us into her house for parties, and Metallica would be there, James would be there, and maybe Kirk, I don't know, but it was just like, she knew everybody, and so there was a lot of good times. As a matter of fact, I remember we were all standing there watching Guns N' Roses' first video, "Welcome to the Jungle." And I was standing next to James, and I'm just like, "Oh, this sucks. This isn't metal." Yeah. And then later they toured with them, and yeah, I guess that was a nightmare for Metallica.
I wouldn't think Guns N' Roses was ever metal. I don't know why they were even considered metal. I mean,
no, it was MTV back then, and there's Guns N' Roses.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Poison was metal.
Yeah, Poison was metal. Yeah, you got it.
That Headbangers Ball, they had Slaughter and all that shit on there.
Yeah, Headbangers Ball. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like millions of people that think Master of Puppets is the greatest thrash metal album of all time.
Now that would be Eternal Nightmare and Bonded by Blood.
Ralph, you were interviewed for one of those Bay Area documentaries, right?
Killing Technology myself.
I am in one of those documentaries. No, I wasn't interviewed. My music's on it.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Bob Nalbamian's Godfathers of the Bay Area, but it wasn't all thrash. I mean, it was Y&T.
Yeah, it was Laws Rock. I watched that the other day, and it was kind of like it got boring after a while. We're like, okay, where's the metal?
Yeah. Well, it was also boring about it was my music was underneath the whole thing.
Ooh, the last honest man.
I mentioned Eternal Nightmare, one of my songs, actually.
Awesome.
Yeah. Wake Up Smell Thrash, and there is I say an Eternal Nightmare during it.
No, Sean, I really do want to put over Ralph's channel, though. 25,000 subscribers. The man is like, when it comes to metal, classic, hard rock, and classic metal. I mean, him being a genuine fan, and I know we're joking around, but I mean, the truth is, to have Ralph on the show, especially because you're on and you're his favorite thrash singer. I mean, I think it's Ralph. I love your enthusiasm in this episode. It's great, and honestly, I cannot put over his channel enough. The content he puts out is always consistently good. He never puts out anything that's shit. So
yeah, to me, Sean, it's like Black Sabbath, Merciful Fate, and Vio-Lence. When I talk about those 3 bands on my channel, it's a lot of enthusiasm.
Awesome.
That I just go to. I did a review on Eternal Nightmare with footage of you guys, track by track, and footage of, because I'm really good at editing, footage of you guys talking. I don't know if you ever seen it. I made a video for Serial Killer where I only use footage of Henry, Portrait of Serial Killer.
I think I did see that.
Yeah, that was me that made that.
Okay, awesome.
Wait till I tell Ryan that. Can you give a shout out to my friend Ryan Taylor? He's your biggest fan, I swear.
What up, Ryan?
Bigger than you?
Yeah, bigger than me. I'm telling you, this kid, and he's a kid.
What's up, Ryan Taylor? Metal up your ass.
There you go. Is this live?
Yes, it is live.
He's watching this now because I told him check out Rap Salad Review. He couldn't believe it. I was like, dude, I'm interviewing Sean Killian, and he goes, oh man, I can't wait to watch it. When's it going to air? I go, I think it's live. So
everything we do now is live, and we don't have all the subscribers that Ralph has. We only have 700.
Yeah, that's why you got to come on my channel.
I'm waiting for my invite. We have to talk trauma.
Yeah, I'll go on your thing. Yeah, I'm in a trauma picture too. But yeah, Sean, you got to come on my channel.
Yeah, you got to schedule with Tom because he's got me doing interviews like every 30, 45 minutes, and I can't step on his toes with the schedule.
I'll give you his email, Ralph.
Hey,
I've missed a couple. I've missed a couple too, and I was like, shit.
Just remember,
Ralph's channel is great, and he is Dr. Fuck the best. But I will say,
I saw that.
I might be one. I am definitely the only one on here right now with a Las Rocket tattoo. I guarantee it.
I don't have one. I don't.
No, but I'm wearing a Queen Diamond shirt. It's Freddie in King Diamond makeup.
Nice.
Oh wow,
that's awesome.
That is
nice.
Sean, thank you so much, man. This has been
thank you guys.
Yeah,
it was a real honor, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks. For
thank you. It's always
so much,
great
Sean.
It's great. Always great to talk to people, and it's like it's not like I've ever written music for the masses, and when people invite us on to talk, it's really a great thing for us. So I appreciate it.
Well,
awesome, and good luck with the new EP. And
thank you.
Yeah, can't wait for it to be released.
I'm kind of surprised that Tom. I'm surprised Tom didn't send you the whole thing because a lot of people.
I thought maybe I missed it in the emails, but no, I did not see the link for the.
Because I've done other interviews and they have it, so you need to get on it. Sorry, Tom.
I'll have to get after it.
You can wait. March 4th release date for the new Vio-Lence EP.
Yeah, it's just around the corner.
Yeah, and I'll wait till the album comes out. So I'll have it myself when it gets here, and I'll, because I ain't gonna like bombard you. I may be like a fanboy and shit like that, but I'm no stalker. So I don't want when Vio-Lence comes to town, I don't want to be banned at the door.
Don't worry. You won't be banned at the door.
Ralph, relax. It's not
only
misery.
do
You're
that
fine.
to me.
All right, Sean. Can people go and find you anywhere? Facebook, Twitter?
Yeah,
Instagram.
Sean._.Killian at Sean._.Killian. On Facebook, I think I have like 2 or 3 Facebook pages, but I can only get into one. It's the one where I'm standing there singing "Into the Flames."
Okay.
Or
I think
there.
yeah.
I have you on my Facebook, so I don't know which one, if it's one that's active, but I do have your Facebook.
Yeah, it's the one that has the fire ring, and I'm in the middle of it, and I'm singing. That was at Decibel, the Decibel magazine beer metal fest. That picture. Yeah.
Well, this has been such an honor, believe me.
Thanks.
And Ryan's going to be psyched with your little shout out, and I thank you for the free cameo. you know.
Oh, no problem.
It was cool because when they sent the money back, I was like, what a bummer. And then the next day, and it was funny because I timed it. I did it like weeks before his birthday. And the freakiest thing is you sent it the day before his birthday. So it got there right in time, you know. It was awesome.
Excellent. Well, hey, yeah, definitely get a
Facebook
hold of
request,
Todd
so.
and I'll go on your.
We'll do. I'm gonna, probably set it up after the album comes out before you go before. And one last question: is there? I know you can't say it, but is there anything in the works as far as more touring after the corner?
Well, we're on Bloodstock and Alcatraz and festivals. Currently, we have a 13-show Headbangers Ball tour set up in Europe, Germany, Austria, places like that. But we're, our agent's working on some stuff for us, and then we figure once the EP comes out and everyone hears the full thing, that we might get some more requests. Because like the 2019, all the shows we played, I didn't reach out to anyone. They were contacting us, and we were just setting them up. But now I got an agent because I can't do all that, And he's connected too. So, and we're supposed to be in Chile and Brazil in September. And we're hoping that everything opens up because we're not vaccinated, and just Phil is, but the rest of us aren't. So, we play in the States. We have shows scheduled outside the States. If mandates and stuff are lifted, then we'll be there.
I know you played Puerto Rico, but have you played any other South American place before?
Mexico City. We played Tijuana with Overkill and Excel a while ago, but not much.
Yeah, believe me, I toured Colombia and a bunch of South American places, and you can't find more fanatical fans.
9,000 people in Colombia, right, Ralph?
Huh?
9,000 people in Colombia. You headlined to, right?
We headlined a festival of 8,000 people, and I said after the show, "That's it." And I want to do it like this.
I made it.
That's how I felt. Like I made it.
Yeah.
Played in front of 8,000 people, and I praised Eternal Nightmare on stage that night too.
Right on.
So yeah, big fan. But and I'm not going to be banned from a violent show, so I'm going to shut up before I put my foot in my mouth.
Nah, don't worry about it. That won't happen.
Yeah,
And Bobby's a friend of mine, so
I'll send you a picture of Ralph, and you can give it to the front guy.
Yeah.
the front
Okay.
door. Don't
I
let
will.
this guy in. Again, Sean.
one last thing: is Bobby going to be in California soon, like before the tour for anything?
He'll come here to practice. We'll rehearse together before we head out.
All right.
We have another show. It's in Turlock. It's the Hemp Fest. We don't know who the headliner is, but I don't know that it's been announced yet. But yeah, we'll be there, and then we go to the Oblivion Access in San Antonio or Austin, Texas, and then we head out with Corner after that. So
Well, tell Bobby Dr. Fuck said hi. He knows me.
I will. Yeah, they're texting me. They're texting me as we're talking. We got a little group text.
Right on. All right, we should let him go. And I look forward to.
Are you sure?
Well, I know I'm going to get him on my channel, man. And through this Dog and Pony show.
Wayne, any type of
Dog and
bugs?
Pony show.
Dog and Pony Show. You son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. I asked you to come on here because I know.
And
what
the
a fan you
best
are.
there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
Okay, Brett, take it easy.
And I love you. I love you for having me ask.
But Sean, if you talk to Ron and Tommy, tell them I said they're amazing.
All right, I will.
Take
Sean,
care.
I'm very, very sorry for coming on this show, and you'll never probably come back.
It's
every
fun.
time. But no, thank you very much again for coming on the show. Good luck with the
Yes.
new EP, and hope to see you back on again.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, guys.
Right
All
on.
right, and everybody
Cheers,
go
Sean.
check out ratsaladreview.com. Music is lifepodcast.com, right? Did I say that right?
Yeah, that's it. I still have to update the site.
you do. And Almost Human 56 on YouTube, Ralph's
Yeah.
channel.
I got to go. I got to put on my herpes ointment.
Okay.
Oh,
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Night,
See
You
ya.
everybody.
too.